Oh, Jesus.
What are you having?
Yeah.
Jim, what are you drinking, mate? Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Have one in the chamber.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's equivalent of a car letting you go when there's no one behind it.
Yeah.
Just drive on, and then
yeah.
I can just slip in behind you. It's easier.
It would be quicker and easier for all involved if you just go. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, Jesus. I went to a really good pub. I was in Leamington Spa with some friends a couple of weekends ago, and there's just this really old school pub, and it was great. But it was like, the couple of things that you got to have in a pub. You got to have hooks on the bar for people's coats.
Love it.
People don't realise how important that is until it gets to like October, and then that's just you'll understand why. It's really, really, really important. Coat hooks. You've also got to have beer mats for a multitude of reasons, one of which we've already mentioned. The second one is so you can play that game where you flip the beer mat and you,
Go up 2, then 3, then 4.
Yeah, exactly. I think I did 20. I think I did 20 once.
Jesus.
I did 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
my record.
That's pretty impressive. I feel like at some point the mass of it helps.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
I feel like if you can do 8,
Yeah.
you can do 20.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. You can also write. You can write stuff down. You can whatever. Cut that out.
Yeah. I've always jotting things down.
I was about to say, hey, you write people's numbers down. It's like, you just do that on your phone, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Also, having cards behind a bar or dominoes behind a bar and freely offering those if somebody asks for them is that's like serious brownie points in my pub book.
Yeah.
It's like if you say, have you got any cards? And they're like, yeah, sure, here you go. Even straight out. That's a good pub. Jukebox. Old-fashioned jukebox.
Yeah.
That is a complete winner.
100%. Any sort of form of communal music queuing up.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if it's a modern thing. But old school is obviously better for sure. But any way of us coming over there, looking around the room and sort of realising, this isn't going to go down well. And then smiling. And then popping it on anyway.
You know what these boys are going to love? Bewitched. Oh, amazing.
But I agree with you on that one for sure.
I thought you were going to be playing the room there like, I can be the legend that is like DJing all night.
Absolutely not.
No. Just the absolute. Oh. Jesus. Oh, incredible. What else do you need in a good pub?
A mini humidor behind the bar, maybe?
That'd be, you know what?
I mean, that's obviously high end.
Yeah.
But
I went to one of my favourite pubs in Ealing last week.
Yeah.
And when I was at uni, not in Ealing, but near Ealing, they always had cigars behind the bar.
Right.
Not crazy, hour-long Cuban smokes. They were smaller smokes, but they always had smokes behind the bar.
Right.
And I feel like even if you're not shifting a load of those, it looks super cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To be able to buy smokes in a pub, like that's good for the pub, I think.
For sure, yeah. Do they not have them anymore?
Nah. Sorry, I didn't finish the quote. Yeah.
That's all right. The story.
Oh, I cannot speak today. I'm sorry.
That's right, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
I can do it, can't I?
Yeah.
I'm sure I can. So they don't have them anymore. That was my story. Were you just like, great, that's good for the pub? No. So my story is they don't have them anymore, and it made me a little bit sad.
Right.
It you know what? It had gotten a little bit slick. It was like, it was a bit pro, and it was a little bit expensive, and it was a bit like, I felt like the staff, even though I hadn't been in a while, I felt like the staff were new and that they would constantly be new. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
High turnover
of
just young women that go to the uni. Like,
yeah.
Fair enough, but you want to know who it is. You want to have like little chat with people, a little bit of banter or whatever.
100%.
And I felt like, it lost a little bit of it. Yeah, maybe it's COVID related or whatever, but wasn't quite as old school as I would have liked.
That's
anymore.
a shame.
But still good booze. Okay, my third and final snack related question of the evening.
Okay.
What is your poppadom technique in the curry house?
Ooh, okay. So Are you referring to? Am I taking the poppadom to the pot of dip?
Yep.
Of mint sauce, or am I bringing the mint sauce to my plate, taking some off, and then?
I mean, yeah. So a few different options, aren't there? Like, there's the person that just breaks a tiny bit off the communal pile, and then they dip it into one bit, and they eat that bit.
Okay.
And they go for another snap of the communal pile.
Yeah. Angry already.
Yeah, grumpy. There is also the person that does the correct thing and takes one onto their own mini plate.
Yeah.
But then you can do a couple of different things there, can't you?
Yeah.
You can then break your little bits off and put a bit of something on it and eat it. Or you can do my technique.
Okay.
Which is, you take a whole one off the top of the pack, put it onto your plate, crack it up into like 4 quarters, yeah? And then you commandeer the entire tray of sauces.
Aggressively...
Yeah, just snatch it. Snatch and pull. Yeah. One swift motion, and that's yours for the foreseeable. And what you do is you take your time and you get one pot, you get the onions, you get the raw onion, and you sprinkle that all over your 4 quarters. Pop the onions back. You get the chutney out. You pour the chutney all over your 4 quarters. Pop that back. Dill pickle. Get that. Pour it all over, until you've proceeded to have the whole lot.
All four condiments.
Yep.
On
all 4. So I'm slathering. I'm just making a big pizza, a big poppadom pizza with the condiments.
My goodness.
And then I'm set. And then I push the condiments back, and that's me done. I'm set then. Everyone else, take your turn, because then I've got my little thing, and it's all done. I've got mine. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right, Jack. I'm sorted. Yeah, so now I can just there's a nice even... if you're good with your serving, it's a nice even distribution of all your different condiments, and it's job done. That's my technique.
Okay, I don't dislike that technique. I follow you all the way up until you aggressively commandeer the sauce.
Got you.
Tray. So I've broken my poppadom into quarters.
Yeah.
I arrange them so they're on top of each other. So only a part of my plate is covered by poppadom. Nice. A quarter of my plate, if you will.
Yeah.
I then commandeer the sauces one by one.
Okay.
I will put my onion salad, I'll put my mango chutney, my mint sauce, and the lime and spicy thing, whatever the pickle.
Lime pickle.
And then I will go in individually and scoop off of my own plate.
Wow.
The reason being I don't mix them. Oh. It'll be one bite of mint. One bite of mango,
right?
One bite of salad.
Okay, I got you.
And then I'll go from there. It's very rare.
Tapas approach.
It's the tapas approach. Yeah, I am quite Spanish, really.
Oh yeah.
The mixing. I've never actually seen that. I mean,
yeah. I've been to
enough Indians with you, but I guess
I guess when we're in a curry house, we're just so hungry at this point, we're just chowing down.
Yeah, for sure.
Not paying attention.
Absolutely, yeah.
We've got the blinkers on in our own lanes. Oh dear.
Oh man. Well,
interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, each to their own, eh?
It is. I like this. We should start doing this more from where we pick little weird social cues that no one ever teaches you. You kind of have to figure it out on your own. And how have you figured it out? Your parents drop you off your first curry house and they leave you. They shut the door, but they drive off. They're like, he'll figure it out.
Yeah. My boy has become a man.
Slide a tenner in your pocket and then they push you to the nearest curry house. So you were mentioning you were in Ealing the other day.
Yeah.
What were you in Ealing for?
I was there for a barista course, coffee barista course. So this was a full day's, sort of a 9 to 5 days worth of course, learning to become a barista, essentially. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everyone knows, but that's the person that makes the coffee in the coffee shop, basically. We learned about sort of bit of the history of coffee, a bit of the science behind it, how to taste coffee, which hilariously they call cupping, how important the grind is of the coffee, how to pull espresso shots, and then dealing with milk, how to heat it, how to texture it, how to lengthen it, and then a bit of basic latte art as well. Okay. Which is that sort of heart or like fern or swan or whatever that you have in your cappuccino. And then literally doing it, learning how to do it. So, cool. Incredible fun. really tough. It's really tough. Like,
really?
Like if you go into a nice coffee shop and they just do it in like 2 seconds and they plonk it down, it's like that takes a lot of work. They've done that many times before. So yeah, hopefully people will look at them in a different light because it's bloody hard. Like it's just a lot of repetition.
How many cups do you reckon you went through, like making?
Oh Jesus, yeah, that's one thing I realised. There's a lot of wastage. Like you waste a lot of coffee and a lot of milk.
Were you drinking a lot of it or not?
Yes. So you just get free ones all day, like in the shop. So as soon as I got in, I was 10 minutes early or whatever and just had a free one. So I've already had like a double. And then you're just tasting throughout the day, basically. You're tasting a lot of bad stuff as well because the instructor, she made us some like under-extracted shots, over-extracted shots.
Okay.
Bad tamping, which is once they put the coffee into the little handle thing, which is called a portafilter, you've got to get that very accurate, very smooth. You make sure there's no holes, make sure there's no clumps, make sure there's no this, that. It's got to be even, blah, blah, blah. So if you don't get that right, it has different effects. So there was a lot of bad tasting, actually, throughout the day of like, this is what it tastes like if you do this.
That's cool.
This is what it tastes like if you do that, you know. So, yeah, a lot of caffeine, basically. And one of the fellow course attendees said that he went to the London Coffee Show a few years ago and drank so much coffee throughout the day. He estimated about 12 to 15 shots of espresso. And a couple of days later, his heart was going so crazy that they had to rush him to hospital.
What?
In an ambulance.
Days later?
3 days later.
Wow.
So he was like jacked up for 3 days, but then on the third day, his heart started doing like weird palpitations, like strange rhythm and like really fast and then slow and all this stuff. So yeah, he rings like 111 or whatever, and they're like, yeah, call an ambulance.
Wow.
You're going to hospital.
That's cool.
And they did the tests. Luckily, they didn't have to restart his heart, but I don't know what he said they did for him, but yeah, basically he drank too much.
Okay.
So yeah, don't drink 12 to 15 espresso shots.
Sure.
Yeah, you're going to keel over.
Sure. I mean, I think I may have told you this story this weekend actually, but it's worth probably repeating for the podcast because it's pretty crazy. A friend of mine went to university. I won't say who, but and they were part of a university science experiment. So one of his friends was part of this science team, and they were doing an experiment on the effects of caffeine to your body when you exercise. So basically put him on a treadmill, made him run a mile or something, marked his time and his breathing and stuff, and then they gave him a shot of caffeine, so an injected shot.
It's like literally injected into his vein?
Straight caffeine, yeah.
Wow, okay.
So the idea is going to be a small amount, but enough to register, and then they put him on the treadmill again, does the exact same thing, and then they mark it. It's a pretty simple test, and they did it with a few people. Anyway, he does his test and he gets off and he sits down, and obviously his heart's going because he's been running pretty fast. Like he was told to like leg it basically for a mile, so he was already pretty. His heart was going pretty fast. Didn't take him long to realise that his heart wasn't slowing down though. And he was
Jesus.
He said something to the woman like, "How much caffeine did you give me?" And she's like, "Oh, just." She looks down and her face apparently just goes white.
Oh, Jesus.
And now, I can't remember the exact amounts, but I have a feeling it was meant to be 0.5 milligrams of caffeine, and it ended up being 5 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh,
which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 10 times the amount a normal human being should have. And this was meant to be quite a lot of caffeine, obviously, to register an amount. So
0.5 is a lot, and he's at 5.
So let's say 0.5 is just one coffee. Imagine just injecting 10 coffees into your veins, basically, instantly. I mean, I think it's more than that, but let's just assume that's a small amount. So anyway, his heart just is going just at full speed. Take him to the doctors because they think he's going to die because they don't know what they've done. She's panicking. It's his mate. They've only known each other a few months. I think this is relatively new when they started uni.
This is still freshers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she was probably hanging from the freshers party they're just going back from. To be fair, which makes sense what she did. But they basically, the doctors sort of gave him the all clear, and apparently he just went home, sat on his couch, and just sat there for about 24 hours. Didn't sleep, wide awake this entire time, just wired,
man.
just heart going boom, 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 boom. And then the next day you manage to get some sleep. But yeah,
that is crazy.
Pretty scary, huh? It's a drug, man. It's a serious drug. Like,
yeah,
people don't think about it, but it'll get you if you're not careful.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you have to work